Hello, everybody, and welcome to this session by GACS. Just to give an outlook, I think we had organized sessions on wellness and yoga over the last month, and there was a lot of appreciation received for that. Some decent, good participation as well on that. Having said that, I think unfortunately the pandemic goes on, and we need to keep finding ways to keep ourselves engaged, not only engaged but actually more so motivated. And on the same lines, the thought has been to to kind of diversify and bring in more opportunities for all of us to engage and build on each other's motivation levels and engagement levels. Uh, Going forward, starting today, we will have a daily 45 to 60-minute session, and each of these will be focused on different areas. So on Mondays, we'll be looking at meditation and motivational talks. On Tuesday, a little bit on technological tips, which will be on a wide diversity, not just work related. Wednesdays will be about physical fitness. Thursday will be some thought-provoking discussions. Friday is about having fun. Saturday, some spiritual talks, and hopefully, I think right now everyone's looking for that. Everything else seems to be failing. And finally, Sunday again having some experience sharing and some, amusing anecdotes that we can all share with each other. So that's the intent, and we look forward to successful participation and experience with all of you, all the team, all the members here together. You're welcome to invite your friends and family to join these where you think that they may have an interest in a particular subject area. So you're welcome to do that. With that, I'll hand over to Mr. Shashidhar Sharma, who heads our Karnataka chapter. Over to you, Shashidhar.
Thank you, Shailendraji. Wonderful to be here and wonderful to kickstart this daily session. And my name is Shashidhar Sharma. I work for Cushman, having got involved with GACS for some time, and it's a wonderful fraternity. And last week, sometime we thought that after the yoga session, we thought that there is in this difficult time, what are the ways we can engage people? And this thought process started, and we thought, let's do something to get everyone together. And that's the reason we are here. And we are going to, as said, that we are going to have an interesting session, daily sessions. And you are all welcome to attend it. Today is the first day of these daily sessions. So I have given to talk about some kind of motivation in these difficult times, where the challenges are there. And as you all know, the first wave of COVID was slightly away from our home and friends and family. It has moved very close to us, and it has created a lot of disruption in our life. And I personally believe that there are ways we can do that. There are ways to be successful, happy, and I'm going to share some of those thoughts which I have gathered over my experience of 20 plus years, as well as also 1.5 years of COVID times. So that's what I'm trying to do. You're free to actually raise some questions, queries, which Jatin so ably is going to manage. And if any questions are there, at the end of the session, we can talk about it. So basically, I'm going to talk about a little bit more about the success story of the people and how they have achieved, what I can understand from there, and then how it maps to the thought process of what we have in our mind, our nature, and then trying to work out a beautiful equation of beautiful life. And finally, I will touch upon a little bit on the different times and how we can manage these, all the negativities what we're getting, how we can manage that with certain key elements. And ultimately, I will talk about the advice. So I'm starting with any questions you have, please share with us.
I'm sorry, but we're just getting some messages that your voice is not coming out clear. So may I request you to be a little louder?
Louder. Okay. So is this okay?
I'll just wait for the others. I mean, for me.
Yeah, this is much better, Shashi.
Yeah.
Okay. Wonderful. So going forward, let me share some of the images. All of you can see this, right? So I'm not sure whether you can recognize all of them. They're all very successful people, and I'm trying to use the success stories of the social media. And the idea is basically very clear. If you're always trying to be normal, you will never know how amazing you can be. And this is what these amazing people did. So I will go through the next slide, which is decoding success. You all know Cory Girl, right? And so, what makes her viral? And I try to wonder about that, and I try to reach out to her life story, and I could find that the success is not something which happens immediately. It takes time. So she was a schoolgirl, and she was interested in internet. Basic tools she had a unique talent in terms of the language. She is a very good singer. She has a social media, presence and a strong interest she has. But her success is not about the fortune, fluke, kismet, luck. The forces behind her viral video was only one or two things. You see what happens. This is the first post she ever posted. This the left hand side. What image you see is of her mother, and this is her first post on Instagram. And probably after 100 posts later, she posted her school picture. So it is not luck. What she did was 317 Instagram messages she created, and she kept on doing it, and her passion was there. And that's exactly what happened, that she became a viral success, not because of fluke, not because of any other reason, but only because she had the passion and the perseverance. That's the major component of her success. And whenever we use this to attributes of our nature, we can find success. So I try to find that out, and this is what I'm trying to decode success. So how do we go about doing this? So our mind works on various aspects of our professional life. So if you see on the left hand side is subject matter expertise, then the learning, and how do you use those learning into your application, in your office, your job. So that's the leadership skills what you have in mind. And the other aspects what you have is awareness and the focus and perseverance. This is your basic nature which works in terms of passion, which ultimately these two things together brings you the leadership skills on the left hand side, subject matter expertise, application, and learning. This is what makes a leadership skill. So if you are doing anything, and if it is no rocket science, and it's said that if you use 20,000 hours of work on anything, you can become an expert. So subject matter expertise comes from hard work, and then how to use that hard work is very important to understand and keep on doing it and keep on learning. This ultimately becomes the leadership skills which makes you a professional and a successful professional. However, leadership alone will not make you a successful person. What actually brings successful person is the focus on the things what you do, perseverance what you have, and awareness of all the things around. And all these three things make you aware and makes you passionate about whatever work you do. So leadership plus passion is what exactly tells you to be in an expert position and a leadership position. However, these two things also does not make your life beautiful. What makes your life beautiful, a life of fulfillment, is happiness. And that happiness is a manifestation of your own mind. That happiness is the bliss what you have. It's only the manifestation of your mind. And if you're not comfortable with the surroundings, if you're not really involved with the things that you cannot be having a life of fulfillment. And these are the things which ultimately gives you a beautiful life. And that's probably what I can say is where we all need to be there. So leadership plus passion makes a good person, but a blissful life is where when you get happiness. So coming back to success is also believing in yourself. All these things, you can become a leader by using subject matter expertise, by using those subject matter expertise into application, and then finally become using the passion. So this is all there within you. But until as you use this, until as you work on this, until as you believe in yourself, success is not going to come. And that's what probably is the decoding of success for last 20 plus years have tried to do. Believe in yourself. So I will actually take you to another important theory by William Thomas and Dorothy Thomas. If man defines a situation as real, it's a very important point. Excuse me. If man defines a situation, they become real. And so what you do, you predict. Suppose I'm here and I want to become a leader. I need to think about it and predict, okay, after 5 years, where I'm going to be. Now, this prediction alone.
शशिधर सर,
Yes, sir.
सर आवाज थोड़ी सी बहुत कम है, थोड़ा ढंग से सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है.
Oh, let me just remove my speakers, right?
Hey Shashi, this is Captain. I think this is something to do with the connectivity. So in between, voice is breaking basically, and we are losing you. So if this location, or maybe you can just try somewhere else.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
No, we can hear you, but in between, like we lose you. So your voice fades and then it comes back. So I think that's the challenge which people are struggling. So on the chat also, people are dropping a note. I know you are presenting, you may not be able to see that, but if in between you can check that. So moment your voice fades, people will write there on chat. So there is a pop-up which will come in. So if you can just try and see that also, you'll get an idea. Otherwise, people keep thinking that now it will be better, and they miss an important thing.
Okay, so what do you think, Captain Saab, is this fine? Because I removed my headphone.
So now, thankfully, last whatever few seconds, I am hearing you at least reasonably well. So let's try it out. But my only request is we don't want to disturb you also, because the whole flow breaks. So people will keep writing on a chat box. So in between, if you see any pop-up coming in on the chat box, please just look at that.
All right, I will just open my chat box.
Because now people are writing that it's better now, perfect, which means now we can hear you much better. It's not me, everyone, but in between, if it fades, just whenever you get time, just look at the chat box.
I will do that, Captain, and thank you very much for that. I will also probably go to the important slide, what I was talking. And Jatin, am I on the time scale? Am I on the right time scale?
Which is fine, sir. You can continue with it. And I think after removing the headset, the voice is coming out clear now.
Correct. Everyone is writing it's perfect, so continue.
Wonderful. I'm so happy. And thank you, Captain Sir, for bringing that out. And I was just going on.
See, the whole idea is you have done so much of work. The whole idea is people should get the message right. So if they are losing anything, I think we are defeating the purpose. So that's the reason we had to stop you. Please go ahead.
No, I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for that stopping. If people are not listening, my face is not as good as presentation. So
okay,
wonderful. So thank you very much. So I was saying, and just because this slide is very important for me, and what exactly I have heard and I have learned. So I'm trying to bring out after the mind mapping, which basically. I'm sorry, I just heard something. So what I'm trying to say here is that the very important aspect of our mind is basically works on the two principles. One is the leadership skills, which comes through subject matter expertise. And as I said, that if you do 20,000 hours of any work with sincerity, dedication, passion, you're going to become expert there. And after becoming an expert, if you start using those expertise into your job, into your work, and then keep on learning. Another aspect is learning. Keep on learning. You become a leader, and that's very important aspect of becoming a successful person. However, this leadership alone will not take you anywhere unless you are passionate about what work you are doing, and that passion comes from the focus. That passion comes from your perseverance, and as Jaggi got the name, as J. Krishnamurti said, awareness. If you're doing something, and also it is also comes from Bhagavad Gita, that whatever you're doing, if you're doing with total awareness, 100% dedication and sincerity, you end up being passionate and it will help you. And so the moment leadership and passion comes together, you become a successful person. However, the third aspect is the happiness and the bliss. If this is not there in whatever work you're doing, you cannot have a life of fulfillment. And that's exactly these three things has to come together to actually give you a life, beautiful life of fulfillment, contentment, and you will make everybody happy around you and make things go smooth in your life. So that's very important. So I just touched upon this particular aspect. So beautiful is life is created when success rises with happiness. Now, I was also talking about something that success is also believing in yourself. You can do a lot of work and you have done everything, you are focused, aware, passionate about what you're doing. But if you think and if you don't believe in yourself, success will not happen. And that's a very important point. This Mr. Thomas, William Thomas, and his wife, Dorothy Thomas, worked out in 1930. They say it's a very simple formula, and that's what I'm trying to, bring it to you. First, you have to predict where you want to be after 5 years. So, if you remember all of our life, when our HR person or interviewer asks you what you're going to do in 5 years time, basically it is all about this prediction. The moment you predict and you believe in it, what happens? It changes your behavior. The prediction alone, thinking alone that I'm going to be a great person, a good leader, a professional, it changes your behavior. And now this behavior in turns changes the way you act towards anything. Many of the times when some situation happen to us, we react in a very different way. Now, if your behavior is positive, you will react in a positive way. If you're negative and you're not sure, you're doubting, you will not be able to bring the confidence into the action what you're doing to a fruitful conclusion. Now, this action alone results in a future. It's a wonderful circle what we have. And if we believe that if we can work on only this prediction, if you seriously believe, you sincerely believe that I'm going to be this person in 6 months' time, 1 year time, or maybe 5 years, you will end up changing your behavior, which will in turn end up changing the action you're going to take on any situation, and ultimately you live that future, what you think for. So our very important point in terms of decoding success is to believe in yourself. Now, let me go back to situation what we are right now in. It's a very difficult situation, as I said in the beginning, that we are living in the second wave, and a lot of people are saying third wave is also going to come. First wave was slightly far away from us. Second wave is closer to us. Whenever I talk to some person, I always hear, oh, this has happened to my family, my friends, and in fact, in my own house, my wife was, got COVID last month. So this has come very close to us. Now, all this situation, what is doing? First, it is creating a disruption in our life. It is creating negativity and a lot of worry and stress. Now, we can react to it, as William Thomas said, we can react to it in a very different way. We can react, we can put our head in the sand and think it will all go away. That is not going to work. And this stressful situation, what it does also, keeps your mind occupied. And that's where I'm coming from, that you have to use this external challenges through your own positivity. And if you don't do that, you are going to be worrying yourself to death. That's a situation I want all of you to be there. So when this situation are there, be positive. And that's the kind of a message I'm trying to give you this different times. So I will also I will give you one good example. I don't know how many of you know these famous people. I'm not able to see the chat, so I'm not be able to guess, but let me tell you. 1964, 1664, Newton went back to his village in London, and he spent 2 years together because of that plague, because of the plague. Now, many people say, okay, I'm not saying that just because he went there and he worked out the gravity, he worked out the telescope, he worked out the prism, he worked out calculus. I'm not saying that because of this situation. But what he did was, he found isolation to give his mind a space to think and get insights. And this is exactly what we are supposed to do now. Give our mind space from the negativity all around, become more positive, and think, just get out of this vicious circle of negativity. And this is what he did. 2 years he spent, and that made the foundation for him to do so many great things. Now this is 2 years. Now the left hand side, I don't know how many people recognize this lady. She's a very famous author, J.K. Rowling. So 2 years is not the point of having an isolation to get the insight. She was in a very difficult life situation, and she took a bus, and like she was really in bad financial situation. She was having a depression. She was having a lot of mental stress. A single lady, like she was absolutely broke. She probably have had one home. Now she was going in a bus, and that bus took 4 hours. In that 4 hours, she created Harry Potter. So I'm not saying that you need 2 years to come to a conclusion, get insight, get to design calculus, gravity, and all these things. The moment you give your mind some space from this 24 bar 7 news items, this 24 bar 7 challenging situation what we have, only few moments of your can change the life. And I'm just trying to tell all of you to give your mind space in terms of getting yourself positive. And please remember, positivity has been proven to help your immunization, your strength. Biologically is proven. So don't start worrying. Living in COVID times can be stressful, full of negativity, but bring your own positivity. And there are ways to do this. There are very simple ways to do this. Passion is one of the most, easiest thing to do. If you're passionate about, let's say, gardening, so work on, creating another life, plant a sapling, create a flower bed, positivity. All these things will bring you happiness. So my thought for the Monday motivation today is that you should be focused on your work, passion, and positivity. I will finish my talk with 4 very important key points. And if you can work on these 4 important key points, it will change your life. Now, the first of this, and this I have experienced in the last 1.5 years, love and belonging, being with the family, being with the son, daughter, calling a simple person like distant uncle. It helps. It not only helps you, it also helps them. Now, this is something which I have actually personally experienced, because I started calling all our GSAs member and talking to them gives me a strength, and that's what is required in this worrying time. So invest time and effort to connect. It works both ways. So invest time and effort to connect. Just call some people. Just randomly talk to some of your friends from childhood. It will help. The second very important aspect is nature, because the whole world has not been infected by the virus. The world is still beautiful. Connect to it. Just have a morning walk, or go in the evening, see the sunset. Just create a kind of flower bed. Put a small patch of happiness in your life just by planting some saplings, preparing some ground, create a garden. Even if you don't have, excuse me, even if you don't have a kind of lawn, you can use your balcony. Just get some happiness in life just by watching that plant grow. It will help you. And I'm sure about it because I've done this. The third very important aspect on this is work. Get involved with the work. Work from home has become, it's in kind of a ritual to us, and it become very, very expert to that. Get there because it will help you, give you mind space and passion. Follow your passion. Whatever you have a passion, whatever. For example, for me, it is writing. So I write. I have, I keep on writing, and that gives me one haiku I write 45 minutes. It is like a meditation for me. Do something creates for you a reason to be, and that's very important aspect. And finally, I'm talking about solitude and meditation. Solitude is not loneliness. Just there's a lot of difference between solitude and loneliness. Loneliness is where you are disconnected from the world. Solitude is the space where you are connected with your inner self. Go there, because the moment you start talking to your inner self, it will get connected to the universal consciousness that will make you so comfortable. That's also the space what Newton, J.K. Rowling, and many more people get insights. It will give you ways and means how to do something far better than what you're doing right now. Finally, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to give you, just by believing in yourself, you can change your life. And of course, the most difficult life skill is to learn to be happy. Be happy. And that's probably is the message I'd like to give you. Thank you very much. Jatin, over to you. Jatin?
Yes, sir. Yes, Shashiji, please tell me.
So, I have finished. Any questions or anything is there?
Uh, as of now, we don't have any questions there.
Good. So, Captain Saab.
So thank you so much, Shashi. It was pretty interesting. Like I said, I know how much effort you have put in. And the best part is the examples which you shared, the slides. I think overall it was an excellent stuff. And since it's all about, we call it motivational Mondays, I think I'm sure a lot of them got really motivated. Only one thing in today's time, and we have had a number of things in the past. Sorry, I pinged you one-on-one, I realized, for a question, so I can ask now. I think the whole logic is with whatever is going on, and we keep hearing about companies not doing great. A lot of companies are doing reasonably well, but still there are few challenges, issues with few companies. So now one thing comes to everyone's mind is it's like a double sort of an effort, because normally with whatever work you do in the office, once you leave office, you come back home, you try and leave everything when you leave office, but at the same time, these days, since you're operating from home, so whatever you do, it's always there in your mind and you are at home. So anything in that direction you would want to share as in your experience, that in spite of the fact that you are working from home for now work for months, close to a year plus together, and still you manage everything, and there is still motivation around not only you, even your family members. Because a lot of times, a lot of family members feel there is a lot of work which we do, but when they have started seeing us working from home, they really feel that we do nothing. And how to really motivate them also that whatever we do is worth. I think that's a question which probably everyone has in his or her mind. So anything you would want to share in that direction?
Yes, absolutely, Captain Saab. I think you hit the nail on the head. Uh, my wife and my family don't think that I'm working at all. So because they see me around talking to people and all that I've been doing. But having said that, even if you're working from home, Captain Saab, you have to take out time for yourself, your own personal self. Since earlier, when we are working from office, we always used to have our own space, mind space, I call it. So all of us need to at least take out half an hour, 45 minutes for ourselves. And the best thing to do is in the morning, do yoga for yourself. And 45 minutes when you're doing this pranayam and all this is required in terms of, breathing exercise and all. This is also gives you space for you to actually internally think. I write every day for minimum 2 hours. I write and that gives me my space because I'm passionate about that. So that is where I'm coming from. So give yourself space, your personal space, because your kids will be there, your family, mother, father, and wife, and everybody will be there. They have a constant demand on your time. Personal space, mind space is very much required. I think Surinder is raising his hand. I hope that answers your question, Captain Sir.
Yeah. What you're saying is right, and you're right. Your family members behave like your manager these days. They feel that you do nothing. So I think that statement is powerful and resonates with most of them. And when we have, I'm sure, workout Wednesday and there are other sessions also. So what you're talking about is yoga and other things. I think definitely we'll take some clue from there. So great. I think that's good enough. So you have answered. Over to Surinder.
Surendraji, you can unmute yourself.
So now the worst part is now when office opens up and you come back in the evening, you can't tell your wife, I am too tired. She knows what you are doing all day. So we have to plan for new excuse to get a nice warm cup of tea in the evening when you come back. So which means after coming back, you still have to wash the utensils. You have to cut the sabji and everything, make the salad and also wash the clothes. और कई बार बीवी के पैर भी दबाने पड़े तो कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है. So that's the beauty, and you should enjoy that also sometimes. I enjoyed it during my Corona vacation. I really enjoyed doing everything.
Because you were doing this earlier also, Surinder, prior to Corona. So for you, there is no change. It's a problem for a lot of other people who are not doing it. And we have our female colleagues also on this call. So they also must be enjoying that hospitality. So you need to look it from their perspective.
Absolutely, sir.
I saw another hand raised. I'm not sure.
अरे मैंने उसको सुबह बोल दिया, मैं कहा उनका उन्होंने कहा था कि वो जब घर आ जाएंगे तो वो फोन कर देंगे. उनका फोन तो आया नहीं.
You put on yourself mute. I saw another.
Hi Shashi, this is Dennis here.
Hi Dennis. Yes, Dennis.
You're able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Dennis.
All right. So thank you for the session. Although there was slight disruption in between here and there, but I think somewhere in between you also use the word disruptive. So I think this is what it meant probably. But anyway, so initially when you said, there has to be a passion, there has to be a perseverance and, dedication and patience and all those things. See, these are all very commonly used words and it is absolutely fine to use it. But there is always a lack of a clear definition about passion or perseverance. Like if a particular person is passionate about it, how do you measure a passion? How does a person know that, yes, I am passionate about a particular thing and I'm going in the right direction? Because generally what happens is anything which you put in effort, it doesn't give you a result immediately. It takes time. So obviously you need to have a passion. So do you have any kind of a measuring mechanism? Do you have any kind of a mechanism where you will come to know that, yes, probably you're putting your effort in a wrong direction or in a wrong kind of an activity? Probably you can divert yourself or you do something else where you can show. See, passion is not what that's what is my belief, that passion is not what you like, but passion is what you do whatever you get in 100% effort. So that becomes a passion kind of it. That is what is my understanding. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
So
Right? Because
Dennis,
it is definitely not possible to do whatever we like and get whatever we like in life. So that's what I just wanted to understand there.
So Dennis, it's a wonderful question, and I think it has been really wonderfully answered by somebody we talk about. And so there is a very great philosopher. His name is Rumi. He was a great poet and sculpturist. So one of his students, after he passed out from college in London, and after 10-15 years, this student writes him a letter. And actually, he wrote him 10 letters. And those 10
Shashidhar, we are not able to hear you.
Oh, sorry. Anyway, can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better.
So, Dennis, what I was saying is that this is a wonderful question, and this question has been answered wonderfully by a great philosopher and a poet and a sculpturist. His name is Rainer Maria Rilke. So he was in a college, and after he passed out and become famous, his college mate 10 years down the line wrote him letters, 10 letters in fact, which actually become a book now. You can read it. This book basically is letters to a young poet, and this 10 response letter he wrote to him how to become a writer. Now, the passion definition he gave in a very wonderful way, which I would like to share, and you can use this whenever you want to check whether you're passionate enough or not. So he says ki, if somebody tells you that is, and you are a wonderful singer, if somebody tells you that stop singing, will you die? Will you still speak? Your wife says you don't sing, don't do this thing, that thing. Will you stop doing it? And if you are not able to stop it, then you are passionate about it, right? And this is what it's a kind of litmus test for passion. And I'm sharing this particular slide. Passion is also defined by focus, perseverance to doing things, and awareness. If these three things combine, then you'll be passionate about. So I hope that answers your question, Dennis. If I tell you to stop singing, will you stop singing? If you're not, then you're passionate about singing.
Yeah. Got it, Shashi. Thanks so much. But anyway, I have still so many questions. We will do it offline sometimes. But yes, in nutshell, yes, I got the answer.
Wonderful. And again, Shashi, sorry, as a word of advice, there are a lot of bachelors also, so we should not be misguiding them. You said if your wife tells you to stop, will you stop? You don't have a choice then. So please clarify that there are exceptions. So don't talk about spouses here. Just say if anyone else tells you on this earth, and if you're passionate, you should not. But if your wife tells you, you don't have a choice. You have to.
So, Captain, another thing on that basically, and I think I will take this a little bit more to the next level because it's all about passion and about, handling your situation, what we are in. So I'll take another level. So just being passionate does not work. So, one of the very great poet also said that do you have a room of your own? So you can be passionate about anything, but if you don't have room of your own, basically, if you're not financially secure, you're not taking care of all the duties around the family. So your wife is going to tell you, stop boss, get me food first on the table. So first of all, you need to do all this and then you can be passionate about anything what you want to do. So that's a very important thing for the young generation here. First, make yourself secure in terms of financial security. And then you can, use your passion for whatever you're doing. And yes, my wife has been stopping me for writing for some time now because I need to earn the daily bread. So passion will come on its own because it's not going to die even 10 years down the line, 50, 20 years down the line. If you're passionate enough, you will come back. Good. Any other questions? I can see the chat now. If somebody wants to write it there, I can answer it. Otherwise, we are good to go. So, Jatin and Captain Saab and Shailendra ji, over to you. And thank you very much, everybody.
We have a question from Abba Sahib, sir. 1 second. Abba
Okay.
Sahib, sir, you can unmute yourself now.
Shashiji, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you very much indeed for your excellent talk. It was really helpful. I think while you're talking and answering to tricky questions from Captain and others, I think I just remembered a great concept which is followed by Japanese people. I'm sure you will be aware of that. Ikigai.
Ikigai.
Yeah, a reason for being. I think that particularly talks about passion, mission, profession, and vocation. So I think it will be really great if we get somebody who knows Ikigai. I think there's a very simple and small book on that subject. But if you are aware, I think we would love to hear that from you because believe me, I think the entire talk, when you're presenting all the slides, it kept me giving remembrance of Ikigai.
Yes, Awasab, wonderful. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to hear your voice, and I hope that you're back home. And last time when I saw you, it was a challenging time. And hope you're well. Everything's fine.
Yes, sir. All well, all well. I'm back at home with grace of all family members from GACS.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to hear that, Awasab, and our peers were there with you. You know, everybody, like me, Samir, and Captain Sab, all Rahul, everybody was, worried about it. And good that you're back, and to hear your voice is a pleasure, and it is wonderful to hear you. And now coming back to your question, Ikigai. Okay, so Ikigai is basically works on the thought process, and we don't have to go to Ikigai. If you just go and read Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, okay. Let me go back to the origin of all these thoughts. Zen meditation and all the dhyan. Actually, dhyan went to China, where it becomes Chen, and it went to Japan, it became Zen. So the whole thought process, our own Vedic culture has got everything. So if you read Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, and now we realize that the yoga is one of the best things. Yoga is only a physical exercise. If you read properly, Yoga Sutra talks about Purush and Prakriti. Now, Prakriti is nature, and everything what we know, what we have, if we connect with the nature and see, and that's exactly the way we should be living, in balance with Prakriti. And that is where coming from all these Ikigais. Yes, I've read that, and actually we can talk about it. But rather, I would like to read, I would like all of you to read Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. It is one of the best things which talks about all these things what has been talked about Ikigai. Ikigai become a famous thing because it was proven that 80% of the people live more than 100 years because of this particular process. All is there. Having said that, our problem in our culture has been that we don't document it, and that has been my challenge. Whenever I give a lecture in my lectures in terms of author and writer, we don't document it, and that's the problem. So all our saints and everybody, they said ki aisa hota hai. They were not supposed to prove it, and that's what they didn't do, and that's the problem. But yes, Ikigai has given a very nicely put nuggets and how to do all that. Probably we should follow, but I would advise other people to read Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. That will also help. I hope that's answers.
Yeah, I agree. I think you did mention about Prakriti and all. So they are incomplete without each other. Yes. And like you said, I think what we all talk about Ashtanga Yoga and all, it all comes from our Vedic culture.
Yeah.
So we only take yoga or yoga nowadays famous. So
that only because it has become popular in Western world. So okay, let's not go this kind of talk in terms of what is good and what is not. But yes, all these things are written in very various books. Ikigai is one very good book to
specifically why I mentioned that because like you rightly pointed out, it comes out like a dashboard. So when you see the Ikigai picture, I think one can understand what you are exactly talking about.
Yeah, so I also Japanese style of poetry, right? Kind of haiku. It is kind of haiku is kind of a meditation for me. It's 3 lines, 5, 7, 5, 11 words, and with that you paint pictures with words. It's a meditation for me, and it's a wonderful classical Japanese style poetry. So there are many ways how you can get your own mind space. So in all this particular lecture I have talked about, whatever suits you, you should work on those things, because that is where you will be able to have the mind space. Like there is, and Surinder and other people who are focused on singing, that's the mind space they need. I need for writing, so that's the mind space I need. Some people yoga, Ashu Sahab, very focused on yoga. So everybody's got his own way and style of having their mind space. That's where everybody should, reach out, find out, do the internal, dialogue, communication. Yeah,
Shishir, so Abhasai, we did one, during our first webinar series, we actually got a practitioner, Ikigai practitioner. Shashidhar, we can bring him in one of your motivational, spiritual talk on Monday. Let him do a complete session for one day for, all these people, senior guys. Absolutely. That was a very good session we did.
Absolutely.
I think you bought him, na? Ikigai guy, he came and he did a session during our webinar series.
Thank you, Surinder. Thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I think we are good to go. I hope all of you liked the session. I hope I had been able to give you some inputs which you may be able to use in these difficult times. I hope it has been helpful. Please reach out to me if any further discussion is required. Anything you'd like to talk to me, you can reach out to Jatin or me or directly. I would it is my pleasure and honor to, interact with all of you. So over to you, Jatin. Any final questions or something? Or
thank you so much, Shashiji. I think I would just request Captain or Sameer sir, anyone, Rahul sir, anyone for the last comments, please.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Shashi sir, and thank you all for joining in. This is definitely a great start to the initiative that we thought will keep all us. Which we thought all of us would be engaged during this period. I think last 1 month, where our teams have been working exclusively on yoga, I think there was a great engagement, and today, as we speak, we thought of bringing in variety over here. So thank you, Shashi sir, for leading it, and thank you all for joining it. Indeed, always great. We will continue this for the next 1 month, where you will find different topics being discussed by different leaders and different thought processes. And for all the other folks who would like to contribute, come forward. Please do write to Jatin or myself. We would love to have you all come over here and speak whenever is possible. Thank you once again. Indeed a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you, Sameer and Jatin and Captain Saab, for the facilitating. Look forward to next Monday motivation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye all.